Hi everyone, this is Eric, and I would just like to give you a quick introduction on Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. So SSMS. To access, go to the top left corner. To the bottom left corner if you are using Microsoft Windows operating system, Windows 10. On the text box, type SSMS and it will pop up on the menu here, SQL Server Management Studio. Click on it while it's opening. So my first assumption is you have your database engine installed, and the second assumption is you have already installed SQL Server Management Studio. I'll create another video to show you step by step on how to install SQL Server Management Studio. While it's opening, so we can ask ourselves, what is SQL Server Management Studio? So simply, it is a client tool which enables us to interact with the server. Okay, as you can see here, you have to connect to the server name. So once we connect to the server, it will help us to interact with the database, as well as to inspect the database and the database object, and to run some commands, SQL commands and all the other commands. Okay, so it helps us also to configure, manage, and administrate SQL Server Database Engine. So things like running backups, restoring databases, giving users access, and things like that. So once it opens up, you will see over here it says connect to the server. So you have to input the server name and the credentials that your administrator gave you. Okay, once you input here, and really quick, you have to connect to the database engine on the server type. And as you can see, there are multiple analysis services, reporting services, and integration services. Reporting services helps us to create reports. Okay, and integration services, or sometimes they call it SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services. I'm talking about this item here. So this helps us to transform data and to migrate. Okay, and if you've heard, keyword goes by ETL. It's extract, transform, load. So we use that in a business intelligence, and we do have analysis services, or SSAS. So it's SQL Server Analysis Services. This is an online analytical processing. It's OLAP, OLAP, and it's a data mining tool and a reporting tool as well, used in business intelligence. Okay, so you select database engine. For now, I just want to give you a quick, brief introduction on how to inspect and execute command within SQL Server Database Engine. You hit connect. Once you are connected, you will see this tree node. It can be desktop, laptop, or anything, and couple of objects underneath. So we do have databases, security, server object, and all the way to SQL Server Agent. Right now you see a red X. It's because it has been stopped over here. And if you right click on it, you can start, and it will change to green, like just this button. SQL Server Agent, this is helps us to technically manage scheduled jobs. Okay, so if you have a job you want to run at a specific time or a specific day or daily, you have to go in here. Also, there are some commands you want them to run every night. You can come here and schedule those tasks. So let's go ahead and click the plus sign of the database. Over here you'll see multiple databases, and we do have system databases, which are 4 of them. There is master database, model, MSDB, and tempdb. This tempdb is created every time SQL Server database has been restarted. So it's either the service or if you have rebooted the database itself. Okay. Next, I'd like to discuss here is when you right click on the object, you get the menu. So this menu will change depending on the object you select. So right now under the database level, you can see there is a how to create the database, install database, attach, and things like that. If you go to the server node, you're gonna see connect, disconnect, and things like that. So it changes according to the object you're selecting. So let's drill down to AdventureX database. If you right click, you're gonna see the menu and the task to detach database, take offline, to run some backups, restore the database, to extract data, import data, copy data, and all that. And we do have all other menu here. The next thing I'd like to show you guys about SQL Server Management Studio. Right now we see Object Explorer, but we do have a lot of other windows which are hidden. They're not visible, but we can make them visible. So I'll create another video to go through different objects to display and what they do. But right now I'd like you to to just click on the view and go to Object Explorer Details. So this window gives you more information about the object you select here. So if you select the root directory, you will see a couple of objects. If you select the database, you're gonna see more information, and the information goes on and on and on. And if you click on tables, let's on AdventureX, you will see multiple tables. And this window here shows the details. Technically, this information you can get it by clicking on here, and you see the same information. But what this window helps you is you can add more columns in it. By adding, you just on the header, you just right click on it, and you can check wherever you would like to see it. So let's say here we would like to see row count. So if we have to click on row count, and all of a sudden you will see rows, number of rows populating. These are tables. So every table has certain number of rows. It will display over here. And you can right click if you, for example, let's say policy health state. There's no information, you don't want to see it. You go over here and you see it's checked on the left hand side. You just go ahead and uncheck it, and it will go away. If you'd like to add another column, you can go and see what's the data space used in KB, and it will tell you once you check it. So that's the Object Explorer details. It just give you more information about the objects around here. Okay, and this window by default over here, but you can move and put it anywhere. You can say, you know what, you're gonna be on the right hand side, and or sometimes if it's too far, you can move all the way and put on the left hand side over here underneath. So you see now it's underneath, and it helps you to see the object right away underneath. Okay, so let's go back to AdventureX. So the other thing I like to show you guys is let's go to I'm gonna go ahead and close this because I don't need it right now. So on the toolbar here, we do have a new query button. If you like to open a text editor now to execute your command, because that's one of the things SQL Server helps us to interact with the database, to interact with our tables, and to execute command. So to execute command, you need a text editor. And to open it, you just go ahead and click on this button here, new query, or Control N. That's the shortcut. So once it opens, we can go ahead and type any command we want. So we can say select all from sales lt dot customer. Okay, so this is the SQL command. It's just basic SQL command. If you right click, if you like to execute this command, I'll go ahead and hit execute or F5. So once I execute this command, it will pop up an output. This output contains results tab and message tab. Results tab displays the data set of the data returned from your query. And message, it just displays the successful message and the numbers of rows it returned. Okay, and what else? The other thing I would like to talk about is, and that's common mistake most of SQL developer beginners do, is this window over here. This shows you the available database. So if I right click, I just click on the drop down, and you will see all the databases. Okay, all the database available. So most of the times when this SQL Server Management Studio connects, most of the times it's connected to the master database. Okay, so if we execute this command right now, we're gonna get an error which states that invalid object name. Okay, why? Because this database, this table doesn't exist in master database. So that's the common mistake. It's true, this statement is true, that it's an invalid object because it doesn't exist in master. So the best way is to go ahead, that's the good way, and change the database or select the database to AdventureX. Or the best way, which I recommend, is to use AdventureX database. So this is AdventureX LT 2012 and go. That way, this query will always go to AdventureX and execute this command where it exists. So observe over here as I execute this query. Right now it's connected to the master, and we do have master down here. So when we hit execute, it will change the database. You see, it will change the database down here to AdventureX, and then it will execute the command. So this is the recommend. Please use the database before executing any query. The other thing I'd like to show you on this toolbar is we do have a couple of icons. You see this return to text, results to text. So this will turn the data set into the text format. Let's execute it. Okay, let's click and change results to text, and when we execute, you will see all the data set is in text format. This helps you to copy and paste to your favorite text editor, and if you want to manipulate the data or you want to copy and send it on an Excel file, that's up to you. And we do have results to file, which gonna export this data to a file. Okay, and we do have another icon over here, which you will see this is comment out the selected line. So if you'd like to comment out this line, you just hit comment, and this command will not be executed. So for example here, if you do have two queries and you just would like to select one query or to execute a command of one query, you just comment this out and hit execute. So customer table command won't be executed. Okay, and if you want to undo the comments, you just hit this icon over here. Okay, the other icon which I'd like to show you is indent, and the indent, and yeah, you have to increase indent or decrease indent. This what it does is it just create an indent. So once you start writing complex T-SQL queries with if statement and all that, you'd like to indent for easy to make your query or your commands easily readable. We'll see in the future. But these are two commands. And the other commands I'd like to show you, we do have execute, we do have debug. If this is for troubleshooting, if you would like to run your query one by one, and we do have this cancel execution. This only cancels the execution. So if you are running the queries, it's taking too long, you can go ahead and stop it over here. Okay, we do have parts. These parts, what it does, the shortcut is Control F, as you see. What it does is it checks for syntax error. Okay, so for example, we do have custom, and then we did a type over here, put free. So if you parse it, okay, so that's a good example, by the way. So what this does, it doesn't check for object, if the object exists or not. That's a different story. But if it's syntax. So syntax is select all from, it doesn't care about your object. So for example, you mistype this, you put an O. Okay, so if you parse, it will tell you incorrect syntax near from, because that's its job. So before executing any query, if you like to check if you got good, you got you got your syntax correctly, you just have to read these parts. Okay, the other thing is there are two commands over here, and let's say I'm gonna execute this command. Okay, so this will result to two data sets. Okay, if you can see, the first data set is over here and the second is over here down. And if you go to message, you're gonna see two messages, because the first one is for the sales customer table, the second is sales LT product table. And if you'd like just to execute the second command, you can highlight it and hit execute. You don't have to comment out. The first option is to comment out. The second option is to highlight and just execute one command. Okay, so this is really quick introduction. I don't want to take much of your time. I'll show you guys one more thing which probably will be beneficial, and this is how to add line numbers. So for example, here you do have a wrong table, you execute, you're gonna get a message saying that invalid object at line 5. So we don't have line numbers over here. Sometimes you might have 300 lines of transaction queries, so you have to count one by one to find maybe line number 205. So there's a way where we can add line numbers. So if you go to Tools and then go to Options, in this window you can play with it. You can add font colors. I'll talk about it in future videos, but for now we just wanna add line numbers. So we go to Transact. Let's minimize this. Okay, so we go to Text Editor, and then we go to Transact T-SQL, and then we go to General. So if you go to General, you're gonna see the window on the right hand side. You see there is display. Under display there is line numbers, so you just have to check this box and click OK. Now you will see line numbers on the left hand side. So thank you guys for watching these videos, and this was just a quick SQL Server Management introduction. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me, to contact me, or feel free to comment. Thank you guys. You have a wonderful day.